And welcome to TheStrellShow. It feels so good to finally get started. I've wanted to do a podcast now for about 7 years, and questions such as who's going to listen? What am I going to talk about? How do I even start? They've hindered me from even starting. And I finally plugged in the microphone and I got started. And I know it might sound crazy to pat myself on the back to start the episode, but I think it's important to celebrate our small wins in life. And this is really a big one. So good job. Let's get started. So today, I thought it would be fitting if we talked about starting something new. We all have things that we want to start, either personally, like a hobby, or professionally, starting a new business. And it got me thinking, what are the barriers that stop us from starting? Why don't we start earlier? And so I started to think about myself. Why didn't I start a podcast earlier? I went over the materials that I needed. I mean, I had a computer, I had a laptop. I was able to acquire a mic with some relatively minimal research. I was able to find some podcasting software. I did need topics to talk about, and as I just lived my life, those came up. It was really putting myself out there, which was the main fear. The vulnerability of saying, hey, I like to do this. I'd like to podcast. I want a podcast. Subjecting myself to potential judgment and or embarrassment. This was the main fear. The fear of judgment is why I didn't start earlier. Like any obstacle or barrier in life, I think we just need a new perspective on it to change the way that we see it. And if we can observe that people are only giving away what they have, it may just help us cope with the fear of judgment in a healthier way and make it less personal. I'd like to start off with an example here. Let's say you're holding a cup of coffee and somebody hits into you. What spills out? Well, obviously coffee. Red wine doesn't spill out of the cup. Orange juice? Nope. How about water for 200? No. Water doesn't spill out because that's not what is inside. People are only able to give away what they have. So if they're sharing words of discouragement and they're sharing hatred or they're sharing negative vibes with you, that it's just because that's what they have inside of them. They can't give away to you love and laughter and joy and words of encouragement if they don't have that inside. So if you're fearing judgment from others because you want to start something, you don't even want to tell them that you want to, try telling people you want to start a podcast. They a lot of them laugh at you, or tell them you want to say you want to start a cooking show or you want to act, right? They all have, oh, that's so hard. There's so many people doing it. There's all this stuff, or, oh, ha, ha, ha. Let them talk. That's what they have inside, and almost feel bad for them, because recognize that, oh, that's what you have inside of you. It's not about me. If you had love and joy to give, that's what you would be giving, because that's what is inside. So I don't want to harp on it too much, but I thought we'd end the fear of judgment segment with a question of how many more new experiences would we start if we had a healthy way to embrace the fear of judgment or embarrassment? Take away that fear. How many more new things would you start? I'd start a hell of a lot more. Another point that came up when thinking about why I hadn't started earlier is what I call the fear of hard work, or even the fear of patience, for lack of a better term. If you want to start a new hobby or a new business, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Oh, it's going to take so long. It's going to be so hard. Where do I even start? I don't even know how to start. Anything worth doing is hard. And there's a small, simple step for you. It could just be a Google search. It could be asking a friend who's doing that. There is a small step. It could be writing down an affirmation. there is a small step for you to achieve that. If you look at the mountain ahead of you, we would never start new things. We never would. It's way too heavy. It's way too long. It's way too hard to think about weeks, months, years of work to put into probably where you want to get to. But that is the fun. And we'll get to the process in a bit. But that fear of having to wait and having to put in the work definitely held me back. And understanding that, listen, we only have today and we can only do what we can today, I feel helps us and helps us get started. And to that point, that really kind of ties into this. A lot of the times, you know, I alluded to it earlier. We tell somebody what we want to do, and they'll say, "Well, the market is so crowded," or you'll even tell yourself that, "Oh, you want to be a content creator, but the market is so crowded. I can't do that. There's so many people doing that." I would encourage you not to let that deter you from starting. This is the Strell Show, of course, right? And yes, I'm doing it and talking about certain topics, and somebody else could do the same show talking about the same topics. It's not the same. We are different people. You're different from your friends. Eh, There could be thousands of people doing what you want to do, millions for that matter, but they're not you. They're not your, this is your creation. You are the one of one. This is your unique talent of the thing that you want to do. So if a crowded market is the reason that you believe that you can't do that thing, I would just encourage you to say, give it a try at least. You're unique. You have something to offer. Even if it seems, quote unquote, like the same thing as other people, it's not the same. It's different. And just on that point of, since we talked about content a little bit, there is such a need for content out there. I ride the train, and 90% of people are on their phones constantly consuming content. There is such a need for it. There's sometimes we don't even recognize it at first, but there are needs for businesses that you think that aren't there, or there are needs that maybe you might not see right away. There are avenues that your hobbies may position you in. You don't know yet. And so, again, don't let that stop you. Now, switching over to now, okay, you're going to start the new thing that you want to do. I think it's important that how we measure our quote unquote success is important. And if we only measure based on what I would call observable metrics, so for instance, if you're starting a YouTube channel, if you only measure your success based on views, or you start a business and you only measure your success based on revenue, or maybe you're starting a hobby and you're drawing or painting and you're only measuring your success based on how many beautiful photos are coming out, or paintings for that matter, excuse me. I think that hurts us, especially in the beginning. When you start out, you're probably not going to be that good at that thing. I mean, it's the things that we're doing, they take time to get really good and be successful and have those observable metrics show up. I think that there's a better metric to measure whether we're successful at this thing, or at least feeling successful. And I think that's the energy that we're getting from our activity. I know it kind of sounds funny, but when you're doing something that you like to do, you get energy from it. It's so, when if you ask anybody when they're doing something that they like to do, they have all the energy in the world for it. They don't mind the obstacles. They don't mind. I happen to dabble in the guitar, and yeah, I have aspirations to play in public, play at a bar, play at a restaurant. I'm not there yet. There's sometimes a part of my practice that is pretty monotonous. F chord, D chord, F chord, D chord, F chord. Now back to D chord, then C. You're doing these chord changes, and it doesn't sound that much fun. You can ask my roommate. He's like, "What the hell? This is boring." And there is a lot of boring parts to when you start something new, but you have the energy to do it because you're having fun. And you'll get better at it. In 3 months, you'll be better at when you first started. A year down the line, you'll be even better. And why is that? Well, it's because you like to do this. It's because, or dare I say, you love to do the thing that you're embarking on. We've all heard the saying, enjoy the process. Well, you're not going to enjoy the process if you're not having any fun and getting energy from the thing that you're doing. If you're, you know, nothing against people starting a business just for profit. I mean, if you're only starting a business just for profit, I totally understand. I get it. But when you go into the obstacles of it, right, there's going to be things that are going to be hard. If you don't like what you're doing, it's just going to be a tougher road. Not impossible, but just a harder road. And I think we become happier beings when we're doing just the things that we like. And then the other observable metrics kind of show up because of that, because we're on purpose. And when you start to do the things that you actually enjoy, you have a new appreciation for creativity. You'll see others doing creative endeavors, and it lights a fire under you. You're, oh, you like to knit. Oh, you like to make cooking videos. Oh, you started a laundromat. Oh, I like to podcast. Whatever it is. And you're not jealous. You're excited for everyone. Everyone's doing what they like to do. I personally don't want to make cooking videos, so I'm not jealous of that. The only time jealousy kind of comes into it is when we're not doing the things that we want to do, and we're doing things because we feel like we have to do them. So I think you should ask yourself what you want to do. What do you like to do? Get quiet with yourself. See what comes up. Ask yourself, if judgment wasn't there, what would you do? Know that when you do ask yourself, what do you want to do? And then the fear starts to talk and it says, where do I start? How's this going to look? It's all just fear. And just say to yourself, okay, what is the smallest incremental thing that you can do today to start? And again, it might just be asking a friend who's doing the thing that you're doing already, just picking their brain or researching it online. It could be making the first small purchase of your new hobby. You're buying pencils, you're buying whatever it is you need. I have this quote by Wayne Dyer, and it's, don't die with your music still in you. We all have music to share with the world. And now you could take that literally and pick up a guitar like I did, but we all have things to share. We're all good at things. We're all uniquely good at things. And I know that there's a fire inside of us wanting to do something, and we don't start it for whatever reason. Don't let that die. Don't let fear get in the way of your gifts to share with the world. There's this visualization that I have with myself of towards the end of life and being old and gray and in a bed and just having a conversation with myself and saying, you never once tried to start a podcast? Not one time? Over the course of 100 years? You never plugged in the mic once? I can feel that regret. And luckily, I can feel it now. So then I can do something about it. And it's going to sound funny, but I'm a podcaster today. I might have 3 people listen to this. Maybe I have 1 million. You never know. But I'm a podcaster today. I have something to share. And so do you too. So share it. And don't let fear get in the way of that. And people will say, oh, you're not successful because of A, B, C, D, and E. You know what? Just let them talk. That's all I have for you today, folks. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you next time.